I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good day, Amy Jones. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful day?
I'm very well, thanks. Happy to be here.
It's a great pleasure to connect with you, Amy. Tell us, what part of the world are you in right now?
I am about an hour south of Los Angeles, Southern California.
All right. And which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
I think it's my obsession with how humans make progress and my business where I help people break down their big goals into small pieces that they can actually do and be able to go further than they've gone before.
Now, I'm guessing people are going to be wondering if we are family or related, since you are carrying Jones as your last name. Now, are you married, or is that your maiden name?
That is my maiden name.
All right.
I come from a long line of Joneses.
Me too.
Shockingly, though, we're not related. Just
Yeah.
nuts, but
Well, that's
true.
intriguing. So if we're not related, amazing audience, right? Well, tell us, who did you learn that skill? Or before we even do that, tell us a bit more of how you simplify goals, please.
Sure. It started with creating a visual. And, I created this business 3 years ago, a bit by accident, in that I had a problem personally, which was that I had a lot of credit card debt. And it was something that I wasn't making progress on. And so I decided to try a totally different approach and to create a piece of artwork that was created of these little swirls. Like I just took a pen and started drawing these swirls, and each swirl represented $100 of that credit card debt. And so essentially what I did with my artwork was that each time I paid off $100 increment, I would color in one of those swirls. And it's a very, very simple technique, but surprisingly effective. And I essentially was able to track my progress visually as I was making these payments toward my debt, and ended up paying off that debt in half the time that I anticipated it would take me.
Sweet. And
Yeah.
just to bring the image to individuals, it's really amazing how this looks. It helps the person that is creative as well, because they can put in their colors as well, right? Like the one I've seen is from Ryan
Mm.
Dean, that he shared that immediately with me. He's like, hey, check this out, because I have a passion for goals. My name is Angel, right? And it was amazing. So this is a particular one that's shaped in a heart, and of course the swirls are in there, and you're coloring it any which way you want to. So for me, Amy, I highly love what you're doing. Well done.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much.
You're welcome. So you've been doing this for just a bit, right? Who did you learn that skill from, though, that creative side?
It's interesting because that specific skill, this idea of having a visual representation of a large goal, was something that I actually saw my mother do when I was a child. And she worked for a company where they would have sales incentive trips each year. So there were specific criteria that she needed to meet to be able to win this vacation for the family. And so I would see her coloring in, these drawings that represented that year's trip that there was to win. And it was a simple concept that stuck with me. I had been an artistic kid, interested in creating and drawing and all different types of mediums. And I paired that with my obsession in terms of how humans work, what we're driven by, our emotions, our thoughts, how that translates into action. And so, in a certain sense, all of this has kind of been building for probably almost 20 years. And it's bringing the two together, pairing the creativity with my great love for humanity. And I think that when we talk about goals and things like that, that's what's been kind of the difference in the approach that I offer people is, when it comes to reaching goals, having it be more than in just a to-do list or an intellectual construct where we go, oh, I just need to do A, B, and C, and then it'll turn out. we're human people, which means we've got emotions and we've got all kinds of things going on that can get in the way of us taking action. So I think it's a sum of a number of things that I've been interested in for a very long time. And this particular application of creating the artwork and breaking goals down, that was the beginning of this business last few years. And I've taken since, the artwork and developed, some courses. I also do private coaching with people. So there's a number of things that have sparked from that initial concept of creating the artwork. And that's a place where people often find me, and we start there. And for those that want to go further, there's lots of other ways I can help people.
Love it. Where's the best place for people to connect with you?
mapyourprogress.com.
Tell us one other. Sure, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, as an aside, we're also on the major social media things like Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and so on. So if you just type in "map your progress" into your browser, you will find us.
Tell us one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
I describe it as relentless kindness. This was a big one for me because I've always been someone who had real high expectations of myself from the time I was a kid. And for a lot of years, I ran on fear and being afraid of not being good enough, of being behind, of needing to do more. And it was a huge switch for me when I decided instead of constantly criticizing myself to be kind and no matter what, to be relentlessly kind, which felt like an obnoxious amount of kindness at the time. But no matter what is going on, no matter how things are going or when things get tough, I choose to be very, very kind to myself no matter what's going on.
How does that make you feel?
It feels like relief. It feels like a sense of space, of being able to breathe, and kind of grounding and recentering myself in truth so that I can then take my next right step.
Suggest to someone out there that's listening that may have had the same struggle why they should do what you've done.
I believe in this relentless kindness, and it's certainly a thread that runs all through Map Your Progress and everything I teach, because I believe that is where we can achieve sustainability. In other words, I look at it as far as reaching goals and taking action runs on energy. And that energy, in the most simplistic way, can be coming from fear, it can be coming from love. And in my experience, love is the energy that is sustainable. And that's what allows us to do our best work and to, serve as best we can. So I believe in love, I believe in sustainability, and that's why I believe in relentless kindness.
Amazing audience. We are live with Amy Jones. Again, you can reach out to her by going to mapyourprogress.com or just type Map Your Progress anywhere in your browser. Amazing things happen when you do that. Instagram, social media, you could Pinterest, anywhere that art is, she is most definitely. And amazing stuff, really amazing stuff. Really, really amazing stuff. Well, Amy, let's switch gears for a moment now and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water.
I love it.
What is your earliest childhood memory?
One thing that comes to mind is actually being in my mother's vegetable garden and hunting for tomatoes. And I remember just being so enchanted with being outside, feeling my smallness. I think I was probably 3 or 4 years old. And I just remember being so blown away by the fact that you could go out into the backyard. There was a plant and it had things on it that you could eat. And so I just remember the magic of being outside and being in a garden and being able to create things that then tasted really good. So that's another passion of mine that started when I was quite young.
Wow. So how old do you think you were in that earliest childhood memory?
It's probably about 3 or 4 years old. I definitely remember I was pretty small. And the tomatoes were quite big. That's what I remember.
Why do you think this memory is so clear, and how do you see it connecting to who you are today?
I think for me, it's one of my earliest memories of just the wonder of creativity and creation. I mean, to me, gardening and plants and things like that are another expression of creativity. And this idea that we can put a seed or a plant in the ground and care for it, and then something incredible comes out of that. I think that's another reason why I continue to love gardening and I get so into it. I am very clear that I'm a person who is here to create, and that creative process, I think, has always fascinated me. And I also love food. So, yeah, I think it was just, it was a time that it felt magical to me. I think that's what touches me most about it.
Love it. Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Please.
I love the idea that from that tender age, you were attracted to process. The process of how things occur, and that you actually, it seems to me, found a way to chart that process in your mind. At that time, it was, okay, the seed is planted, the plant grows, and then I get the fruit. But it has translated into so many other things, just like, okay, if I am in debt, it means I need to change my lifestyle, and the process is going to be this, and it's going to take these small steps to getting to that place. And to see that thread go through your life, where you understand that there is a process and that you have to put in the time that's necessary to get the thing at the end, is fascinating to me.
I think that's a beautiful interpretation. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I feel like that was a gift for me.
Yeah, it is. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
I love this question. This isn't a big sexy answer, but nonetheless, it's there's a song called "To Be With You" by Mr. Big, and I just remember being so taken with that, and it's one that can kind of get stuck in your head. So I have a lot of good memories of singing that song with friends of mine.
And there we go, to be with you. Well, Amy, we have now arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Amy, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Not yet, but I seek with my business to be able to demonstrate what I know and give what I've been given, so that can hopefully reach millions of people.
Are you married?
No, I'm not.
Do you have children?
No, I have a dog that I treat like a child.
He counts, right? Is it a he or she?
A she. Her name is Lula.
She counts. Do you believe in God?
I do.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes, some wonderful people.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Not usually. Occasionally.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes.
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Oh, yeah. I'd say it's definitely more than 8.
Amy, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, what would you say that is?
I was asked once what I would like to see on my tombstone, and I kind of reminded of that. And that is, I use my pain for good.
Love it. Amy, this has been a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I just want to highlight on what you had shared in terms of your interpretation of my love of the tomatoes. This idea that there is a process. And I think what I most want to remind people of, that if there's any goal, anything that you want to create in the world, that you get to choose and you get to decide to be the person that sees that through. So it's choosing again and again and again, but you are the only person that can do that.
Love it. Amy Jones, thank you, my friend, for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
My pleasure.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.